All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Happy Wednesday. Today is our Friday, right? Taking a personal day there tomorrow, and markets are closed on Friday. I would expect tomorrow's volume to be pathetic, which is why I'm taking the day off. And yeah, I would recommend you all also go celebrate your Independence Days. But yeah, besides that, been a really good start to the week here so far, right? We've done a really good job identifying kind of the hot ticker of the day, right? Monday, we focused on trading CL, which gave us the most relative range. Yesterday, we focused on trading NQ. That actually gave us a pretty textbook breakdown relative to kind of general consolidation across the board. So I think there's probably two clues, right? That things are going to be probably a little bit slower here today. One, that we're not seeing markets move in unison, right? So we're seeing one index move higher, one index move lower, one ticker stay in place, right? One ticker actually can give us a little bit of action. So there's a little bit of that, right? Where there's already what's the right way of putting it? Either way, there's just not enough enthusiasm, right? Generally across the board here today, or in the pre-market, that probably indicates like a tremendously busy session. So obviously we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll see what momentum looks like here this morning. It should be easier for us to trade NQ than it is for us to trade ES. But we'll cross that bridge, see what kind of markets want to give us, and then hopefully, right, we can take advantage of whatever volatility is in play. Yesterday, I think is worth talking about here a little bit. Yesterday was a really strong session, right? We got a great move. We took it from our entry price all the way down to our kind of like final profit target, and we were able to ride that trade down with I would say just like a limited level of anxiety, right? I think in a positive way. And yesterday for me, right, was what felt like a pretty textbook trading day. So the I guess the bias or the emphasis here today is repeat that, right? Do the same thing. Get in that same sort of comfort zone, maintain that same level of I'll call it like emotional flexibility, right? I think yesterday was really good from that context. And hopefully, right, the market will cooperate for us so we can take advantage of whatever moves are out there. I think the thing that we've done very well here so far this week is we really just focused on individual like candles and reactions to price action once we're in trades, and instead of imposing a feeling on the market or um forcing a narrative to go through, we've just been trading the price action that's been in front of us, and that's been a very successful kind of set of behaviors. So if we really focus on kind of filtering out for obvious mistakes, right, and we can be patient and we can be deliberate, then I think that there is probably an opportunity for us to be green and an opportunity for us to all be successful. Today, during the session, I'm going to try to be a little bit more vocal about acceptable entry zones or entry ranges. So I know a few of you were not able to catch on the trade there yesterday, and it was just because maybe you're trying to be a little bit too picky on the entry price. So I just want to highlight to you all kind of the various entry zones that are acceptable, and then we'll talk about how to like optimize that, right? So that when you are taking trades, it's almost like you want to take it in levels, right? You get into winning trades. Once you have a little bit of some winning trades, then you can start to optimize for perfect entries. And so I'll kind of show you guys how to do that a little bit here, and we'll try to make today's session to still be a very educational one, and hopefully an exceptionally profitable one as well. So, from an economic calendar perspective, right, it is going to be maybe a little bit more chill here today. We've got crude oil inventories here at 10:30. That's probably going to slow me down from trading CL, but the indexes should be reasonable. I think if we're being optimistic, today's probably the last reasonable expectation of getting a good sized trend day. But yeah, let's not impose a feeling on the market here. Let's just trade what's in front of us. So let's start mapping things out. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all feeling sharp, feeling good, feeling refreshed, feeling recharged, and excited to be here. I certainly am after a wonderful Canada Day. And yeah, let's get after it here. So first things first, what's the count on ES? Let's start there. It's kind of a weird one, but important. Yeah, it's an inside bar, Jack, spot on. And it's an inside bar with increasing volume, which I kind of hate. It's like probably my least favorite candle. Because if the volume was so strong, why couldn't we make a higher high, right? Why couldn't we make a lower low? Why did we have to remain fully confined there inside yesterday's price action? So that's like a little bit of a red flag, I would say. Now to the upside here, we're looking at a 62.70. That's going to be my starting point. And then, 6,300, fine. If we get past that, we're just going to go 10 points along the way. To the downside, we're looking, I don't think I need to change this. 62.20, I think, is still reasonable. We're about equal distance in both directions. But yeah, I don't need to change too much here. I'm going to keep it as is. Okay, NQ. What's the count here, team? How are we feeling? Yeah, 3 for 3 here to the downside, right? So we kind of started off the day talking about it's a bit of a pain in the butt how we've got one ticker giving us consolidation, one ticker giving us trending markets. I don't know why I couldn't find that word. And certainly gives us a little bit of a concern. John, yesterday's volume on ES actually was reasonable. This that you see here, the volume is from today's pre-market. We're looking back to Tuesday, July 1st volume here, so day back. So yesterday's volume, maybe you're misinterpreting it just a little bit there. Yeah, all good. Okay, so yeah, 3 for 3 here to the downside. So no bull case today, right? On NQ, we're going bearish or bust. And again, we want to see that bullish failure, right? Or that bearish failure. That was where we found success there. Actually, kind of where we found success here all week, right? As we've seen one side fail aggressively. Once that failure happens, then we're able to take advantage of that move. We're at 22,643 here pre-market. Pre-market lows are 600. That'll get taken care of by our opening range indicator. So I'm going to go 22.5 as our starting point, with the caveat that that might also be covered by our opening range indicator. Then we're just going basically every candle to the left. So the next one there is like 388. So that's 400. And then we've got down towards, say, 22,000 on the dot, right? We'll call it 22.1, then 22,000. So again, if I can get a move all the way down towards that path, you guys are going to get a very, very happy Michael here today. So let's see if we can get that follow through. But yeah, pretty happy with at least the implied action that I'm expecting to see here from NQ today. Maybe a little bit more enthusiastic than I expected. All right, so CL still stuck inside Tuesday's range, right? It's got 10:30 data. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then the count here, right, is a green candle, decreasing volume, gap up. And so it's a 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. So we still kind of have non-trending price action, still consolidating here inside that Tuesday range. Maybe today's inventories data could give us a little bit of a catalyst here, and then go from there. I'd like to see, not too much is changing. I'd like to see that breakout over 65.50. I'd like to see that breakdown under, right? I don't think I need to change too much here. Effectively, this week has been 1 day of prep and then 2 days of like micro translations. All right, Apple, we've got a week 2 out of 3 here to the upside without volume. Kind of our opposite move, right? All things considered. Microsoft selling off 2 out of 3 without volume. So it's like one candle up, right? One candle down. Maybe Microsoft is setting up as a little bit of a mean reversion opportunity. If it is a mean reversion market here today, then the focus will be on ES, not NQ. Tesla, 3 for 3 here to the upside. Kind of looks like I might want to do a bottom up gap fill, right? Where yesterday, big gap down, looked to want to fill it on reports that the Trump Musk breakout continues to get worse and worse and worse, or break up, sorry, with Trump threatening to deport Elon Musk, which I think is so funny. But yeah, maybe this is like a bottom up or top down gap fill, right? So kind of looks like it wanted to set up for that move there. Yesterday, they didn't quite do it. Making that move here overnight probably wouldn't be too surprising to see it find support off of 306, right, on a pullback here today. But yeah, worth keeping an eye on. Amazon, 1 for 3 here to the upside, consolidating inside Friday's range. And I keep mentioning, right, the previous day's range so that we could really formalize our perception of how actually sticky markets are right now. If we're seeing so many setups be confined inside a previous day or a candle range from a week ago or 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I'm just being told that it's a market on the sidelines, right? So wanting to force feed that information into my brain here a little bit today. Just remind myself, right, that, hey, this is, when they talk about summer conditions, this is like peak summer conditions, and then it gets more interesting after this week. Again, right, we're still looking at, various mixed bag stories here. 2 out of 3 without volume. Netflix, 2 out of 3 with volume. Google 175, 176. So what we're looking at here, green candle, decreasing volume, gap down, 1 for 3. And then the old Vixaruni here, right? 17.28. So implied range of about like 1%, right? Something along those lines. So we haven't obviously made those moves here yet this morning. But let's see how they come together, how they shape up, and then go from there. How's everyone feeling today? Everyone feeling good? Fantastic, team. Good, good. Yeah, I'm feeling sharp too. I'm excited to be here. Kind of have a little bit of that like last day of school feeling. Just like want to go and burn all my homework. So we're looking at 3 things, Sonia, right? We're looking at yesterday's daily candle, yesterday's volume profile, right? So is volume increasing or decreasing? And then is today's price action telling us the same story as yesterday? So 3 elements, right? Yesterday's daily candle, yesterday's volume, today's pre-market open price. And if all 3 are red, right, or telling the same story, it's a 3 for 3. If all things are green, telling us 3 for 3. So then we're just trying to pick and choose which elements we're missing. All right. Oh, that should be market open here. Let's see. Let's have ourselves a day here, team. It's been a really good week here so far. It's been a really, really good week. So let's finish off strong. And let's have ourselves a lot of fun. We've done two things really well here so far this week, right? Which I want to continue to focus on. We've done a really good job keeping our losers small, right? So I think our biggest loss here so far has been like $360, which I'm happy with, right? I'll take that size loss any day of the week. And then the other element I think we've done a good job of is once we've been in winning trades, we've been trading the price action in front of us, not the moves that we want. So I think that ultimately has made it really easy for us to be green and prevented us, honestly, from being greedy assholes. So pretty stoked on that. I think that's a really positive kind of sensation. I'd like to see more of that type of consistent behavior here. And hopefully, right, we can get a market that wants to cooperate for us. Kind of a similar theme to yesterday, where it's a pretty small sized opening range. Maybe a little bit better on ES, but the NQ range pretty small, at least on the 3 min. Oh, no need to be hyper aggressive here yet. Yeah, sleep score is good today. No complaints. It's just it's one of those things. Sometimes I feel like trading is one of those activities where the more that you like cosplay as your favorite professional athlete, the more that you talk yourself into being a high performer, and you tend to do well. So like a generally like just conscious effort to take care of your health and to exercise and to eat well and to get good sleep and to like take care of your mental health and those things. Like it kind of sucks to do it in the moment, but I think it does make a big difference, all things considered. Like I think about this all the time. Or maybe not. Maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but especially when I was first transitioning to trading retail from trading institutional, um, it is like replacing the support staff I had right when I was trading. So on the desk for like every trader, there were probably say 4 or 5 support staff that basically made my job super easy relative, right? So their job was to like manage my risk for me, right? To pull me off when I was tilted. We had a psychologist that we could talk to. We had a like a chef that would cook us meals. We had like a portfolio manager, right, that would tell us what trades to take. We had back office staff that would make sure our position sizing and market data was all working good. And so, like replacing all of those roles, I think as a retail trader was something that I probably took for granted for a long time. And yeah, coffee is nice and strong here this morning. No complaints. It's fully iced coffee season. Yeah, Logan, for sure. I'll try to open up the pocketbook here a little bit. I have like just like a traditional like it's like a Ninja coffee machine. It does like a little bit of everything. So you can do espresso, you can do pods, you can do pour overs, drip coffee, whatever, the whole 9 yards. So I do that because it allows me to mega brew. You mean like this green box here, Sonia? So this green box is part of the DTR opening range indicator. So it's not the VWAP or not the Fibonacci tool. It's the indicator here, And so that green box just highlights the range of the high and low of the first candle of each day. Yeah, I mean they could be in pretty good momentum here. I mean they're certainly dragging the market up with it by the looks of it. ES lagging behind that though is a bit of a pain in the butt. Everything else is a little bit static. Let's see. We got a little bit of time here this morning. I don't know if we need to be in a huge rush. We've kind of seen the best move of the day happen, we'll say like 45 minutes in so far this week. I don't think that this is still a market that's like really rewarding being first. No worries, Sonia. When you're setting things up, let me know. We can get you all set up. I've got a guy here that can help you do that. So when your computer setup is all dialed in, yeah, reach out and we'll make sure you get you set up with all the trading view stuff you need. By the way, guys, I'm really liking this. Yeah, facts, Logan, facts. It's we need the market to give us a little shake and bake first, and then we can go. You know what we need to start doing, Logan? It's like just like the prayer scene in Talladega Nights, we need to find sponsors to thank in our early morning rundowns. Dear Lord, Trading View, thank you for giving us market data on this day. Yeah, so plus just means it's a green candle. A minus just means it's a red candle. Right? So if it's 3 for 3 here to the downside, means that yesterday was a red candle. If it's a 3 for 3 here to the upside, or a plus sign, it means that it was a green candle the previous day. A market miner. If Mountain Dew becomes a sponsor, yeah, I'm going to become a whale, like officially. Yeah, thank you, Tradeify, for allowing me to giving me 750K to trade with. Absolutely. Thank you, Rise, for processing my payout overnight. So you want to make sure that you're live on YouTube. There should be a live button there in the corner. The latency latency, guys, on YouTube's end is very small. Anything that's like above 5 seconds would be on your end effectively. So the latency from my perspective should be as close to real time as possible. So if you have any latency, you've lagged for whatever reason, you've had any buffering, that's going to put you behind. And yeah, I would take a Zen deal or a Lucy deal or any nicotine sponsor, anytime, any place, anywhere. um so when I first got my job institutionally, I went through like a probation period, and it was 3 months. It was a 3 month probation. And at the end of the 3 months, you had to do this like big test. And if you passed the test, they gave you a full time offer. If you didn't pass the test, you stayed still in your probationary period. And the test was like it's honestly a bunch of a bunch of bullshit. It was like um, a combination of exchange rules, what's NYSE, what's Nasdaq. Like it was all kind of like fluff. But I remember being so stressed out about about that test, and this was when I was a smoker. And I remember Al asked me, "Okay, you ready? You ready to go take your test?" And I was like shaking. Asked me if I could go for a cigarette. I went for a cigarette, had my smoke, came back, wrote this test, and then for the next 6 months, everyone just called me a chimney. And I stopped smoking probably 8 months later. But I remember that was like the most stressed out cigarette. It was like I felt like I was in a war zone. And it was so inconsequential. Oh, Doug, I would love to do something like that. That would be awesome. That would be really fun. Well, Dark Rise. Well, sorry, I'm not sure if I quite understand your question. So, how do I figure out the bullish and bearish for the day? Are you asking like how do I figure out the levels? Are you asking how I figure out the plan? Um, let me know. I think that would be a really fun, like a DTR branded event. Like DTR does the opening bell, and we all meet up at the exchange, and we go grab a brunch, and then we go ring the bell. I think that'd be a pretty cool day. We can go make fun of all the Wall Street bankers stressed out at the Starbucks on Wall Street. Yeah, Sean, it's the worst feeling. It's like, why is there so much extra pressure for no reason? Oh, that would be epic too, Patrick. Yeah. Yeah. So these levels here, right? Just based on the daily time frame. So it's pre-market low, rounded down to the nearest number, and then the next low of day, right? So then we go from one pre-market low to the next low of day to the next low of day to the next low of day. So you're just going next daily lows, next daily highs as your target, and then I round it down to the nearest round number. So for here, for example, right, we were like our open up price was like 33 or something like that. So okay, just go down to 20 as your next target because I know double the range is going to get me there. And then yeah, it's just next daily lows, next daily highs. I honestly try to keep it as simple as possible. Oh, that's so cool, Doug. Yeah, I've been invited a couple times by honestly kind of like some sketchy crypto brokers. um maybe one day, maybe one day. Just waiting for like interactive brokers to invite me to go do it. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I think if like as a event, that'd be pretty cool. It'd be cool to go see the old trading pits in Chicago too. CME pits. That'd be pretty fun. I think Top Step is opening up like a live trading desk in Chicago. That'd be kind of cool. I think they're gonna try to do like a content house type thing. And guys, I just want to stress, right? So I know there's been a lot of discussion about Top Step here this week and about them no longer offering Trade Evade. Um, Honestly, I don't think it's a big deal if you guys are um like still trading, right? They're not going to like void your evaluation accounts or your live funded accounts or anything along those lines. Fundamentally, it is still just going to be a buy button and a sell button. So from like an execution perspective, not too much is going to change or like be radically different for you. So please don't like panic or worry about that too much. I think to a certain extent it is a little bit of a positive development, maybe long term, just because they're going to have more control now over their entire execution platform. I think in general, there's probably going to be a little bit of a Mark, the only way that your trading view would be a minute behind is if you're missing live market data. Your trading view price should not have that much of a discrepancy. But hey guys, please go through the Start Here channel inside the Discord. It'll help you optimize your setup so that you're ready for the stream. Truth be told, I don't quite have the technical expertise or the ability to help you solve those issues here midday. I'm kind of surprised NQ is a little bit more volatile. Still not really a tradable look, but there's no like failed breakouts here so far on NQ. It's all been kind of clean moves. Yeah, I should be on my screen now, Mark. Okay, maybe we can get a 5-minute breakout here on ES. CL not tradable for me until 10:30 passes. I'm a little bit surprised by NQ. A little bit surprised by that. Yeah, so NQ, right? It's a trending market here to the downside, right? So we've got a 3 for 3. So I don't have a bull case here today on NQ. If I'm going to get a bullish index trade, it's going to be on ES, which gave me a healthier trending market. So I'm just looking for the first time frame that gives me a signal that matches my daily plan. So on this 3-min candle, I knew that it wasn't going to close above the opening range high. So just switch to the 5-min to see if it happens there. Volume on NQ would have to be bigger than yesterday, right, at the very least. So there's two ways to invalidate previous day's price action. It's go larger volume than anything previous day, or you go higher highs, like new higher highs or new lower lows. So we're not at bigger volume than anything there yesterday. So hard to go that path. So obviously it doesn't mean, guys, right, that NQ can't go higher, or it doesn't mean that it can't continue here to the upside. It just means that based on my probabilities, right, or the rules of my strategy, and then the probabilities around those rules, right, is that it's a low conviction move to the upside, right? So all that means is that breakouts higher or moves higher in 3 for 3 to the downside conditions significantly underperform breakouts in 3 for 3 conditions, right? Or 2 out of 3 conditions. So my win rate, right, or implied win rate on breakouts to the upside on quote unquote trending markets lower is just not justifiably high enough to take on the risk. Doesn't mean it can't move higher. Doesn't mean it can't give me a breakout. It just means that it's a lower probability one, and I'm not interested in risking my capital on that. I'd rather sit on hands. One sec, guys. I'm just going to go fill up my coffee. Be back in a second. All right. Sorry about that. So really what we're looking for here on NQ is a very similar setup to what we had there yesterday, right? We kind of want to see that aggressive failed breakout and reversal type scenario. Kind of what we're crossing our fingers for here. Right? The path of least resistance is to the downside, allegedly. So let's see if it's got the legs. And look, if I don't get another trade here today, team, or another trade this week, it's still been a pretty awesome week, right? So I don't need to be in a rush here. I don't need to put extra pressure on myself. We're green 20 days in a row. And we're at that number because we've been deliberate and we've been patient and we've been focused. Let's not do anything stupid, right, to ruin that progress. Today really is a day of avoiding self-sabotage. So I wouldn't call this like a textbook fake out here yet. I would say that's probably not been separated far enough away from the opening range to say that it's like a failed move. But the NQ example from yesterday is a better one, right? So you had like kind of multiple fake outs here to the upside, kind of like you're seeing on ES. And then you had that high volume reversal candle right at 10:15. So ultimately, I want to see a fake out, but then I want to see a confirmation candle that looks like that 10:15 bar yesterday. But right now, I would say that price action looks more like consolidation versus any indication of trending PA. That's been the general theme we've seen in the last 5 or 6 sessions, where it's been kind of a grindy fight in the first 30 to 45 minutes, and then we get a clean narrative. Oh, it's only, 9:55. It feels later than that for some reason. And again, I would recommend working through the videos in the Start Here channel, Doug. There's a pretty detailed strategy overview video there. I'm a little bit confused by the wording of your question, Deb. Yeah, so contracts is the same as units. So it's how many am I trading, right? So one contract or one unit on ES is worth $50 a point. Two contracts is worth 100, right? Three contracts is worth 150. Four contracts is worth 200. So it's a denomination of how many I'm purchasing. Units, contracts, shares, even we would call that the same thing. Kind of a term for it all. No worries, Sonia. No worries. You can understand how the lack of consistency would be a bit confusing. So yeah, Doug, could you or Deb, could you please rephrase your question? Yeah, I mean, not too much needs to change here still, right? From our daily plan, regardless. But yeah, we've got a couple outlier names that are showing us general market strength, right? So Nvidia and Apple continue to kind of lead the charge here higher. Everything else kind of seems pretty slow and pretty sticky. So until we get that consistent narrative here across the board, I think the indexes will continue to be really challenging. So you got two names, right, that are showing us some oomph. Everything else is kind of showing us that it's like nap time. And no rush here yet. No rush. Well, yeah, of course. Any trade can always fail, Deb, right? Like nothing works 100% of the time. It is all probabilities, right? So, yeah, of course. Confirmation isn't a guarantee that I'm going to be green because otherwise I would only like just wait for confirmations, right? And I would never have a losing trade and I'd be a cajillionaire by now. So yeah, any trade can still lead to a loss. Any setup trigger can still lead to a loss. So everything, right? The best A plus setups still have a percentage of the time where they lose. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to stack the cards in my favor or probabilities in my favor so that if I trade that confirmation candle 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, right? I know the outcome of that. I know the outcome historically, right, of a large sample size of decisions based off of that information. I don't know the outcome on a trade to trade basis, right? No, I do hard stop losses always. And then the mental stop loss is to try to close before your stop loss hits. But no, always hard stop losses, Sonia. And my stop loss is like low of my confirmation candle or low of my entry candle or high of my confirmation candle, high of my entry candle. So it's just the same technique, right? Always for how I'm entering trades. And just not confusing myself. So trying to turn that process into muscle memory. Yeah. Inside bar just tells you consolidation, right? Non-trending price action. If you look at the strategy cheat sheet, you go scroll down to inside bar here, the very bottom. So 1 for 3, no trending price action / inside bar. So it's the same thing. It's telling us that you don't have any trending PA, that you have consolidation, and that you're looking for a consolidation breakout. Okay, so 10 a.m. data kind of came and went without anything particularly interesting. CL, probably the best move here so far of the day. Probably would have been shaken out though before this thing gives you that big breakdown. Would have realistically been the aggressive entry technique. Would have been a stop loss there and then breakdown. So that's a bit frustrating. Maybe you could have traded off that 951, but again, take a low probability entry. And guys, this is truth be told what we expect, right? On 4th of July week. Things are going to be slow. Things are going to be choppy. Things are going to be bouncy. We did a really good job there trading yesterday, right? Making 3,200. So far, no rush. Again, okay, but not outlier volume. Didn't hold and break out above previous high a day. Same thing with NQ, right? Couldn't hold and break out above previous high a day. So still being very patient here. No reason to be hyper aggressive. I don't know if I prefer setups, John, on one time frame or the other. I don't know if I have, like, if I'm trying to think of like what's my favorite. I don't think I have one. I think I'm more likely to get more setups on the 3. And then, so there's kind of like a rolling scale, right? So I'm going to get more signals on the 3 than the 5. I'm going to get more signals on the 5 than on the 10. Or I'm going to get more signals on the 10 than the 15. But I don't know if I have a particular favorite. And also, I haven't ever really tracked if a time frame is more profitable than me or not for me than not. So maybe that could be something to look into at some point. Again, we're probably not going to get that outlier volume here. We are on NQ. I don't know if I have a... I don't think I have the courage, basically, to trade against my plan here. Um, uh, so this is where I'm trying to like figure out in my head is if that increasing volume is enough. Right, so that's kind of like what I'm trying to fight through here a little bit. And the reason why I'm willing to maybe give it that quote unquote non-outlier volume exception is because we've seen bulls be strong here all kind of reasonably, right, in the morning. And then we're kind of seeing a pseudo cooperation here across the board. So it's kind of like an in tandem breakout. Would have to look like that. So stop loss would be 248.50. Reference price would be 249.25. realistically, right, anywhere between this 250 and this 248.50 would be a reasonable entry price, right, from a risk reward perspective. $1.50 risk or a 0.50 risk is pretty good. So let's see here, 248.50. I mean, this could be a 4 contract play, probably by the looks of it. Kind of breaking out here a little bit. And again, if this thing closes with some strength, then this would be potentially an opportunity here for the 10-min time frame. I mean, this has a chance to also go increasing outlier volume. So I think I could probably talk myself into waiting here just a little bit. Effectively, what I'm trying to avoid here to a certain extent is I want to avoid that like deflating feeling trade here today. Because my base expectation is that things are slow, choppy, kind of bullshit volume, and maybe not optimal volatility here today. So then getting into a trade where I live out all of my worst fears is something that I would like to avoid here quite significantly. Look, it's holding 250 well. I'm just watching an imaginary number. Holding it well. $300 worth of risk here. It's pretty tempting. All right, guys, I'm in. Average price 249.50, 249.50. Stop loss 248.50. Long. And I have 4 contracts here. Okay, so let's see how this thing keep pushing here. And basically, I was just watching, right, for that entire candle, the reaction around 250. So the fact that 250 kept acting as support, right, and kept kind of behaving in an appropriate way, it gave me some confidence that this thing will probably grind a little bit, and I should be able to get a reasonable bit of follow through here. And so far, pretty good entry, right? Not any time here in the red. So let's see if this thing can keep pushing and yeah, make it a nice day. And then again, right, anywhere between that 250 and 248.50 is an appropriate entry price, with obviously the best possible entry being as close to 250 as possible. Now, if you miss the original entry, right, you want to be sizing down and buying on a little pullback, not chasing it as price action is going higher. And I'll be honest with you, team, I'm not looking for crazy moves here, right? I'm just trying to take whatever the market wants to give me, and I'm not being hyper aggressive. So right now, right, this is pushing $400. Pretty good start, right? I'll take it. So let's even give us a little breakout and give us a little bit of enthusiasm. But let's also not get too aggressive. This is more now than a 1R move, right? So I'm up more than what I was originally risking. So I want to make sure that whatever happens here, I'm still finishing green. Right? We've gotten enough separation to say, hey, my trade is probably strongish. So let's not let this turn into a loss now, right? So let's see if it's got a little breakout in it. Get above 452, or sorry, 252. No, I'm trading futures, Don. I'm trading the index futures. Right? ES1 is the index future. All right, so let's see if it's still got some juice here. I don't know if I like that little fake out higher. Try to give it as much time as we can. This is not a super high conviction pullback. Come on, get over 252. And then we're looking at this candle, right? We're looking for three things. So we're looking for this candle to close as a strong candle shape. We're looking at to hold above the previous higher high, right? So above 251.75. And we're looking for increasing volume. If we can get all three, we have high conviction to keep holding. If we get 2 out of 3, we should still keep holding. If we have 1 out of 3, we need to think about getting out. Right now, we're at 1 out of 3. Let's see how this candle closes in the next 45 seconds. Kind of a tight range here, right? I want it to close either above that 251.75, or I want to close this before it turns red, right? So that's basically the framing that I have here of this trade. So it's a plan in either direction, right? And it's a binary plan. If it doesn't close above 251.75, then again, I'm going to look to get out as P&L is increasing. It'll be close. Closed at 25, I think. So going to be looking to get out here as P&L is increasing on a quick little pop higher, especially when we get a pop above 252. Let's see if it's got the juice. Come on, baby. So close. Is me. All right. Come on. Behaving as if it's maybe a little bit out of momentum here. So I think time to start to look for an exit. Again, I'm trying to get as my P&L is increasing, right? So I still think we're going to get a little bit of a failed pop or failed breakout above our previous high. That's going to be my exit trigger, right? I think it'd be very surprising for us to get a monster reversal here. Let's go, Kiki. Yeah, don't need to be hyper aggressive to still get paid a little bit. Let's go. Okay, so this is gonna be our opportunity here in a second, team. Oh, I just missed the 252. Let's try it again. Let's give it that little breakout. Hey, $300 to go into the weekend. That pays for the fireworks. I might have just missed my exit price. Let's see. Let's go, Jamie. Nice work. Fantastic exit. Okay, so let's watch the pop here. Come on, pop, baby. Oh, it was nuts, Kiki. It was nuts. I like went into the village for 20 minutes and I was like, get me out of here. All right, so watching here, team. Watching. Give me a little aggressive breakout here. Push. So close. Come on. A fine line between being patient and executing your plan. I'm kind of maybe straddling a flirty side of it. Nice work, Doug. Yeah, guys. It's obviously I appreciate your comment, but I can't do anything to figure out what the difference is or why that is happening. So I would recommend watching the videos in the Start Here channel and making sure that those are all set up appropriately. All right, so let's see if this can give us a little pop here still. Come on, we're trying to fight through. We're close. Nice work, Sean. Okay. See if we can keep breaking, keep pushing. Did I miss it again? I look away for half a second. Okay, so micros, there might be a little bit of a micro price difference. That could be the concern. But yeah, guys, I have no help I can offer, right? When there's a market data discrepancy, I have no support that I can provide besides that, right? All I can go off is the prices that I see. Unfortunately, I can't do much else besides that. Come on, give me a good exit. I'm really fighting this a little bit here. And MQ's freaking ripping. Interesting. Come on, you're so close. Kind of just like waiting for that little capitulation type move higher. Otherwise, just going to grind and grind and grind. Well, it's going to depend on how close your broker is actually to the exchange. Okay, so we're watching here. This is our chance. Give me a pop. Kind of fighting this exit a little bit, maybe a little bit too much. I know, really get a good price, and maybe I'm a little bit lucky to be picky here because things are moving so slowly. Yeah, I mean, nothing is behaving terribly wrong, right? Which is why I can still kind of keep holding. Let's see. Here's our maybe 253 attempt. Let's go. Nice work. Just take it and run, Anthony, right? It's a good day. Don't trade just to accomplish an objective. Trade because it's the right trade. I think easiest thing to do is to go on tilt in those situations where you're like really pressing to pass, and then you give up some money, and then you just like try to trade back to get back to where you were in the beginning. Come on, you're so close. Again, I'm pretty paranoid about here the volume now, right? It's starting to really tell us signs of weakness. Yeah, this is a slow market, right? Things are not moving fast. So it's not like you have a tremendous amount of opportunities here today. Okay, so there's 253. Keep pushing, baby. Maybe I can squeak a few more dollars out of this. Okay, let's do one more little pop. Nice work, Brooke. Good job. All right, come on. Keep pushing. There we go. All right, a little bit more here. Come on, give me one more point. One more point. That's starting to look like a fake out now. All right. Come on. You're so close. So close here. 2 ticks. There it is. All right. So, oh, big breakout. And I am out, guys. I am out. 257. Out at 257. Let's go. That patience paid off. Nice work here, team. Let's go. Plus 1,500. Let's go, team. Yeah, so you want to see three things. You want to see candle hold above previous high a day, or above the higher high. You want it to hold on a strong candle shape. You want to hold on increasing outlier volume. So this was our entry candle here, right? This candle was our first attempt to break out. Didn't want to do so, so we're starting to look for an exit instead of looking for a hold here. Kept just getting enough absorption to keep holding through some of those moves. And then obviously got that big pop there at the end. Obviously happened faster than I expected. I just actually wanted to get out like 244, 254, 50-ish. And then it just gave us a big pop through and got out. So took the extra little points. So really just being patient there, maybe an extra $1,000. That's awesome, right? I'll take that all day long. So John, right? Find that balance, right? You got to learn to practice following your plan, not trading your P&L, right? So in your journal, when you're filling it in here today, you should be doing something like where it says where is it? There we go. So where it says take profit timing, right? This should be a panic closed here today. And for each red circle, right, note down what you could have done better and why you felt like you needed to panic close. Right? So be deliberate there in how you're tracking why you did something and then go from there. Yeah, so same thing for you, Jonathan, right? When you go into your journal, your take profit timing here today is a panic closed, right? And so now, why did you do that? And what can you do differently next time so that isn't an ass kicking, right? Because I think closing it up $100 is fine, but if you're gonna be panic closing your wins at $100 and then letting yourself get stopped out, you're gonna need like an 80% win rate to be green, which is good luck, right? I don't think that's going to happen. So we have to be able to trust our thesis, guys, so we can build up that margin of error and actually make some money. So what this was here, Jamie, right, actually wasn't an outlier volume confirmation. This was a little bit of a sympathy play here. So it was a high vol breakout at 10 a.m. This was my confirmation candle, broke out above the previous high of day. The reason why I was willing to then trade this breakout was twofold. So one, it was that indexes, right? NQ was giving us a really high volume breakout at that same time. So this one had outlier volume, but I just don't have the ability to trade NQ here based on the pre-market conditions. And then our other leading names were looking like they were turning around and that there was a consistent kind of like market narrative of strength. So waited a long time there, right? On this then candle, we waited about 4.5 minutes or so and basically just kept seeing it bounce off of 250. So once it established then that 250 as support, I can then look at this as confirmation in hindsight. And then I know I can just get a really good tight entry. So again, right, I was risking about 1 point there on that trade. So I was either going to be green right away or red right away with a small loss. And based on the information that I had there generally from the market, I felt like it was an appropriate time to apply an exception. So it was just a sympathy play with NQ, but I had more trending conditions to the upside on ES, which is why I was willing to be a little bit looser there. And then I didn't want to be super aggressive with my entry timing. I just wanted to make sure that 250 did act as support. Once it did, then I had a really good opportunity to get out of that trade. Does that make sense? So it was like a big picture, right? It was the market showed me a general sign of strength. Once I established that strength, I went to the ticker that gave me a bullish plan, right? So I had a bullish plan available to me on ES. I didn't have one on NQ. And so that's why I traded ES. So I saw general market strength. I saw relative to what the momentum was here this morning, kind of strong volume. And so I felt confident that it was an appropriate time to apply an exception. Kind of I know, and this is kind of bullshit, but trading is like half art, half science. I think today's trade was like 3/4 art, 1/4 science, right? If that makes sense. So it was almost like I know what the rules are and I know what the context around those rules are. Here's how I can apply an exception. And I'm trying to be careful how I phrase that because it sounds a little bit dangerous or a little bit loose. But I actually do think that it was a really reasonable trade thesis today. Yeah, happy days, team. Happy days. So it's let's put it this way, right, John? Let's say that you take one trade, right, and you're up $500 and you close it and you look to re-enter it, right? Well, so let's say you got in here, right? You closed it here and now you're re-entering here. If you're re-entering here, right? If your thesis is strong and you're like, oh, this move was good, well, now you're missing $500 a contract, right, worth of P&L, just because you were too afraid to trust your thesis. So you're not going to get that ability to compound and build up that margin of error for yourself because each trade is going to have an independent probability. So if a trade is strong, yes, it's going to give you multiple chances to enter. But if you're taking two trades to catch 20% of the move, you're also not juicing things up to be in your favor. Generally, what I don't want people doing is to be trading with a P&L goal in mind, right? So it's like, okay, I'm up $500. Let me take this and run. Because now you're not trading the price action in front of you. You're not trading your chart. You're trading your P&L and you're trading your emotions. And those things don't scale as you increase your skill and your ability to trade well. Right? So it's a much more scalable of a trading process to trade the chart in front of you, trade the strength that's in front of you, and build confidence and conviction off of that versus getting validation from your P&L number. We should be getting validation from what the chart is telling us, right? What our technical analysis is telling us, not the dopamine hit of a big number. And the more that we focus on trading what the chart is telling us, the more that we actually get that big number that we're craving, right? So it really much is one of those things in trading. It's a little bit of a paradox, but it's the more that we optimize for money in the moment, generally the less that we actually optimize it in reality. So it's better to trade our plan and to like get good at trusting our thesis because we can scale up those decisions a lot more aggressively instead of needing the validation. Let's go, Issa. Let's go. $1,600. Let's go. Fantastic work. Strong, really strong day, team. No, John, I think you've already asked this question 5 or 6 times. I do not move my stop loss to a break-even entry price. right? If I'm willing to get stopped out at that low price, why am I not ready to just close the trade at that higher price, right? So if I want to push my stop loss and protect, I should just close and get out and take the max P&L instead of getting stopped out $200 less. So again, scared money don't make money, right? Trade your plan, trade the price action in front of you. Don't panic the decisions. Be deliberate, to be consistent, and you will make a lot more money. So no, guys, I don't do hard stop losses protecting like 252 or something. I'd rather close my trade at 254 than have the hopium of oh, it might go further, and then it stops me out. And I have no data in my trading to suggest that leaving runners actually makes me more money. It's actually the opposite. It's closing my entire position at once that actually makes me a lot more. So yeah, any questions here, team? I mean, I'm not going to place any further trades here today. I'm pretty stoked on the session, right? Been an awesome week. We've had 3 really good sized moves. And to you, PD, happy Independence Day, mate. So I use Tradeovate, TopStep X, and Interactive Brokers. Those are my platforms. Yeah, you too, be young. Ah, no worries, Sonia. Happy to do it. Selfishly, I think it makes me a better trader, and it helps me realize when my internal dialogue is beyond ridiculous. So sometimes hearing your thoughts out loud, you start to realize the absurdity of them. Yeah, you too, Eric. Enjoy your time off, buddy. All right, so journal time. I don't know, Don. Again, I don't really give a shit if NQ is breaking out here today. I have non-trending price action to the upside, so I'm not looking for any bullish narratives. So I honestly don't care. It's doesn't follow the path of my plan. So I'm not going to put any mental capital towards trading it. Right. Like all I can do, Don, is really just trying to focus on controlling the variables I can control. Right. So I make my pre-market plans. I don't take any trades outside of those planned conditions. And I just really focus on, yeah, executing my strategy as best as I can. Everything outside of that, I refuse to give any energy towards because it doesn't make me any money or it doesn't make me any sustained money. So I just don't care, right? It's hard to have FOMO when something doesn't follow your rules. And so it's just really the point where I'm at. Yeah, Ryan, I'm not going to be placing any further trades here this week. Markets are closed on Friday. I expect it to be pretty slow tomorrow. And it's been a really strong week here. So I'm just going to go enjoy some nice weather and go live my life. Yeah, you too, Patrick. I think it's 21 now, JS. Sonia, I would recommend that you journal every single one of your trades, be it while you're paper trading or while you're trading live. You want to be still learning from your paper trades, right? The idea here with journaling is the more data that you're tracking, the more stuff that you're paying attention to, the faster that you start to notice problems that cost you money. And then A, I can give you feedback on them, and B, you can fix them yourself. So I would say that journaling your trades and journaling them all appropriately will speed up your learning curve significantly. And I say that for everyone. I tell everyone to journal their trades, send me them for feedback, and to basically do that properly. I would say less than 10% of people actually consistently do it. And that's something that always tremendously disappoints me. So journal properly, take it seriously, and you will see a tremendous improvement in your trading. No, Simone, I am not. I'm taking Thursday off and I'm taking Friday off. Markets are closed. So today is my last trading day of the week. Yeah, you too. And look, guys, right? I mean, I don't, yeah, I will use them every now and then, Sonia, but I mean, you've been in here for I don't know, 3 weeks maybe. You haven't seen us use Bollinger Bands here once in that time frame, so I would not overcomplicate your process. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Just get good at trading the opening range. You'll have a lot more opportunities than you think. 6,257, so 6,249.50. And again, right, another trade where we had really, really tight risk. I had 1 point of risk on that trade. That's pretty awesome. Exit was 6,257. Four points for forward contract, sorry. Total win of 7.5. And so I was risking about $400. Max drawdown, maybe a tick. And then 15,350 divided by 400, 3.84, so pretty good. And again, team, right? Like, look how detailed my, not to do a victory lap here, but look at how detailed I am, right? So like I'm filling in all these details so that I know exactly why I took this trade and why I was interested in it. The more detailed I am here, the more money I'm going to make in the future and the easier it is for me to actually learn and track. So just saying, oh, I took an ES 5-minute trade. The fuck does that mean, right? Like honestly, like what does that mean? So be specific, be deliberate, give yourself everything that you could possibly want to know. And then in 6 months' time, when you go back and you look at your trading, you'll have like a playbook of all your A+ trades, right? So don't cheat yourself, please. No, stop loss is just a market order. I mean, you can find this document, JS, inside the Trading Docs tab. It is the most recent thing I've posted there. And it's just, yeah, in Google Docs. All you have to do if you want to use it is you go click File, make a copy, and then fill it in yourself. Kamari, please go through the Start Here channel of the Discord. Like, honestly, guys, I'm starting to answer questions that are simply answered by those videos. I do not like repeating myself, and I do not like having to bail people out from doing the very basic work that they need to be doing. Well, just go through the fucking videos. Honestly, it'll take you 20 minutes. Like, it's called Start Here for a reason, right? I don't really know how to answer your question, Mark. The way that you pick the best method is you track your trades, and then you go back and you look, okay, are my entries consistently early? Are they consistently wrong? How can I change my technique to get better? I can't really answer your question, man. You're not giving me anything specific to work on. Getting better entries is relative to what you're currently trading. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to refine it, right, you track your entries. What was my entry versus what was the best entry versus what was the worst entry? That's how you do it, right? Like it's not like some magical word I can tell you that's going to change your entry technique. Right? So the answer is in your data. It is not in some like jerk off general comment I can make. Nice work. Did you get your payout, Cabo? Let's go. Congratulations. Just remember, guys, right? Like, I can only help you make money if you come prepared to the market. If you're going to ask me to bail you out and still hope to make money, you have the wrong expectation over what is a realistic thing. So the base objective here, the base thing that we should all be doing is coming prepared, going through the documentation, and not just hoping that we can wing it and figure it out. That shit pisses me off. It is so disrespectful to yourself and to everyone else here who is motivated and serious. Don't waste your time and don't waste other people's time, right? This game is far too competitive for us to take it not seriously. And when we don't respect our preparation, we don't respect the market. And when we don't respect the market, we are just assholes. So it literally drives me nuts because it is the one thing that we can all control. We can all control the element of our preparation. We can all control our review. We can all control the energy that we bring into the market. If we choose to not bring that in and bring that woe is me bullshit mentality, fuck you, right? Like it is an exhausting person to work with because that person does not want to get better and they don't want to improve. So yeah, don't bring that energy in here. I will not tolerate it. And I will not tolerate people that refuse to do their homework. I'm not going to waste my time and energy to bail you out with your lazy bullshit. Drives me insane. The standard here is really basic and is not hard to meet and exceed those. The stuff inside the Discord is very well organized and gives you all the information you could possibly need. Choosing to not do that preparation is extremely disrespectful. Drives me insane. Do you know how quickly I would have been fired from my institutional job if I showed up to work one day unprepared? I wouldn't have even been able to place a trade that day. So if we're not going to hold ourselves to a high standard, why on earth do we think that we're going to now be a top 1% earner? Right? Like hold yourself to a higher standard. It's ridiculous. I will never get mad at you or annoyed at you for losing money. I will always get annoyed and mad at you, right, for not controlling the variables you can control. So choosing to be unprepared, choosing to show up to the market without knowing what the heck you're doing, choosing to not go through the material, choosing to not do all those things is a conscious choice of self-sabotage, and it is a waste of your time. It doesn't take much to be profitable. But Christ, if you have to ask what the execution platform is to be able to make some money, you're not serious about making money. Guys, like we have to stop being afraid of like believing in ourselves and doing the things that we know we need to do. But this job is too competitive. The stakes are too high. Your time is too valuable. Your future is too uncertain for you to not absolutely do everything you can to be as prepared as possible. So, like honestly, I cannot make it more obvious than that. And I will remove people from the program who aren't taking it seriously, who don't want to actually do things the right way. We've done it before. We've done it recently. But you have to want to help yourself if you want to get better. And the standard for that, guys, is so low. Like, it's so low. Like the reality in any context in life is you can't wing it and make top 1% of anything, right? So why wing it with your trading, right? Why wing it with your preparation? Why wing it with your review? Why do a bullshit trading journal? Why do like 10% when you could do 100%? Not worth it. It's really not worth it. And yay, right? Like, to be honest, it's not actually that hard work to take it serious, right? Like an extra 20 minutes a day. It's really not that hard. It's just a mental block, right? That's really all it is. It's scary for no apparent reason. And then I mean, you're a perfect example, right? How quickly things change once you just get over that like little mental barrier. Like, oh, I don't need to journal. I'm a good enough trader. Fuck you. No, you're not. Right? So get over your ego and just start doing it, and you will see a tremendous amount of improvement. Like I had someone, and this really drove me crazy, and maybe this is where this is coming from here this week. But I had someone submit their journal for feedback, and their journal recap for all 10 of their trades that they sent me was just the same copy pasted bullshit. ES long, NQ long, NQ short. That was the recap. I was like, you wonder why you're not getting better, right? You wonder why you're not improving. It's because you're not being deliberate in getting better. Being lazy. It drives me insane, guys. It really does. I'm sorry. I have a few triggers that get me. That's one of them. Oh no, it's not gonna ruin my win. I'm having a great day. But the reason I'm so passionate about this is because how do I put this? I think at some point, right, we were all, I mean, I definitely felt like I was that lazy piece of shit, right? Where it was just kind of like a bit of a burnout, a little bit of like, just like wasting my time, like drifting. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied with where my life was. I wasn't happy with how quickly things were changing. It kind of just felt like I was always falling further and further behind. And when I stopped feeling that like, woe is me, oh, poor Michael, oh, I can't believe things aren't working out for you. The second I stopped like rewarding that guy in that mindset and instead just did the things that if I was a 10 times better trader, I would be doing, all of a sudden I became a 10 times better trader and my life improved dramatically. So I sit here and I think, okay, like how much more financial stability I have now, how much more comfortable I am, how much happier I am in my relationships, how much happier I am with my like work-life balance. And I see that it was literally just like 20 minutes of work a day extra to get there. Like the most smallest, babyest of changes. So I get angry because I see how easy it is and I can't comprehend why you wouldn't want to do it. It's like the easiest trade in history. So I can't force you to do it. I can't want it for you more than you want it. But I also won't tolerate people not wanting to pursue. That is ultimately what has made DTR such a strong community. Everyone here is wired the right way and they're focused and they're obsessed about getting better. I refuse to dilute that experience for every one of us. It's not worth it. Makes us all worse. We become the average of the 5 people we spend our time with. And I refuse to accept less than average. Fuck that. Not worth it. Yeah, 100%, Sonia. Yeah. Working a 9-to-5 job you hate is hard. Driving Uber to pay your bills is hard. Trusting your trading plan and being disciplined is hard. Reviewing your trades at the end of the day is hard. But like hard is such a bullshit adjective. What does it even mean? Right? So we impose this like extra sensation and this extra bottleneck on us because of some 4-letter word. Not that. Okay, maybe we don't know where to start with our journaling. So it's hard to us because we are overwhelmed to start. Okay, well, now you don't know. Okay, well, I don't know what I should be tracking. Well, you just go into the daily debrief channel and you read through all those journals and you see what I'm tracking. And now you've got ideas, right? And now writing down that first sentence isn't hard, right? So pick the language you use to describe your problems and realize that whatever path you choose, not going to be easy. So why not take the hard path that has more upside than the hard path that keeps you stuck? And if you're not happy with your trading results and you're not happy with how things have gone before you've taken this new path, why are you so committed to repeating a process and the technique that keeps kicking your ass? Why do you want to keep rewarding something that makes you feel worse and worse and worse, right? So, tracking in your journal today, Mark, why your confidence was low, asking yourself, okay, why did I feel like the market wasn't giving me an opinion? Was that vindicated or not? Those are the things to track, right? The reality about trading, guys, is we are all in this together by ourselves, right? I've said this before many times, but I can lie to absolutely everyone about my trading but myself if I want to get better. So you can lie to yourself and you can say, oh, it's the trading platform that's going to make me money. Or it's, oh, I need to execute on Trade of 8, not Top Step X. Or, oh, I need to use this indicator, not this strategy. Or I need to do this, or I need to do that. These are all just like bullshit excuses that are hiding from you what you actually need to work on. Right? Those are all distractions. They don't move the needle. So be honest with yourself, right? Control the variables you can control. Force yourself to get better. Learn from each trade. And then your day 100 won't have to be the same as your day 1. It's that simple, right? Getting better is a deliberate choice. It isn't an accident. And if we hope that we're going to find a happy accident and just like stumble into profitability, again, fuck you. It's not how it works. You're bullshitting yourself. If you're going to treat the market like your personal lottery ticket, like you're not going to make any money. Or on those days where you make big money, you're going to give it all back and then some. So Choose your hard, team. Choose your hard. It's funny. Like I say this, I kind of like trick myself into this. This is kind of like a mental model, right? But I'm disciplined for like 90 minutes to maybe 3 hours a day, right? Quote unquote. So it's like disciplined in following my trading rules, disciplined in executing my trading plan, and disciplined in my review of those things. So I'm disciplined for, let's just say, conservatively 3 hours a day. I'm disciplined for those 3 hours so that for the other 21 hours of each and every single day, I can do whatever I want with pretty much zero consequences. Right? I can go to the store, buy myself that t-shirt or whatever. Go to the car dealership and buy myself that car if I want. And go on that holiday without having to think about it. Right? I don't have to really like plan out my finances or anything like that. And it's not me trying to flex on you guys. That's not what that is. I don't really do that very aggressively. But it's like 3 hours of focused, disciplined work allows me to do whatever the heck I want in every other element of my life. A really good trade-off. Like that's a great risk reward, right? 3 to 21, 7 to 1. So maybe the autistic trader in me, like that's maybe the only way that I can rationalize self-improvement. But I don't know, call me crazy. I think that's a good trade, right? I'd rather kind of kick my ass for 3 hours a day instead of working for my boss for 9 or driving an Uber for 10. That's really not a hard decision. So I would recommend you all choose to take that path very seriously. Because it really isn't that difficult. And it's just scarier in your head than it is in reality. And yeah, yeah, in my opinion, trading is self-improvement gamified. And if we're not going to choose to take that path seriously, no, there's no money to be made. Yeah. Sorry for being a bit of a snappy asshole here, team. But I'm not, yeah, I'm just not quite sure how else to portray my passion for that topic without getting exacerbated. But for me, embracing that mindset changed my life. And it changed my life so much faster than I ever expected. So I will, yeah, I will take that passion to the grave with me. I'm not really going to apologize for it. I'm an empty apology. Like almost your job as a trader is to unequivocally believe in yourself and to create data so that you can't doubt it. Right? So you kind of have to have like that irrational confidence of like, hey, I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to make this work. And then you have to make your actions match your words. And by putting in those actions, you're going to create enough data where you can't doubt that you actually are a profitable trader. So it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if you're going to be lazy in like that self-belief, then you're never going to get the results you want anyway. Yeah, I do truly mean that. No one can save you. right? You have to save yourself. Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of some traveling here this weekend, Sonia. Gonna go to Vancouver Island, see some friends. It'll be a really nice time. Ah. Yeah, so I would say trading journal on the daily, absolutely, right? And then judge P&L from your trading journal on a weekly basis, but for sure. Like every day, right? So I'm trying to do it all on screen. Is every day I fill in this journal, which is kind of just like a general tracking, right? And then I fill in this one here too. And then that's pretty much it, right? In the evenings, I'll spend maybe a little bit of time looking at the market or whatever, but nothing too crazy. And then I'll spend a little bit of time, obviously, making the video that I attach here, but that's it, right? So the review and the studying I do of myself, I try to do it all on stream. You guys can all see me do it. You can see how long it takes. It doesn't take that long. And yeah, P&L is pretty much a straight line here recently. Yeah, 21 green days in a row here, I think it is now. Pretty awesome. One, two. Yeah, 21. Beautiful. So any other questions here, team? Any other questions? By the way, team, right? For those of you who are thinking about trading tomorrow, please remember, right, that markets close early tomorrow, right? So they close at like at lunchtime. Oh, please don't do anything stupid. It's going to be a very, very low volume day. Please don't be stupid. All right, team. Have yourselves a great weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Please all return to the market with 10 fingers. No crazy fireworks or anything along those lines. Have yourselves a great day, team. And we'll be back at it again here on Monday. And we'll see you then. Look, remember, right? Your day 100 doesn't have to be the same as your day 1000. Your day 100 doesn't have to be the same as your day one. Make a deliberate choice to get better, improve, and to study your trading. You have all the resources you could possibly need inside the DTR Discord. Go through those resources and bail yourself out. Don't expect someone else to do it for you. My job here is to trade, show you how I'm trading, hopefully help make you some money. But I can't do that if you are not going to come prepared and you're going to try to play catch up. Don't do that. Doesn't work. Can't wing it here and be profitable. You got to be more deliberate than that. And I will call out you always for not taking it seriously enough. Have yourselves a great day, team. I'll see you all on Monday and enjoy your long weekends. Peace.